My family and I were very excited that we'll be visiting India again this summer. The sights, the smells, the wildlife of incredible India. When I was practicing this morning, my wife Deepa asked, "Why are you talking like that? You sound like an Indian tourism ad. Gone terribly wrong." Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, speaking of wildlife, I was always fascinated with monkeys growing up in India. So much character, so much drama, so much running around the trees, just like an Indian movie, minus the singing and the dancing. A few years ago, I remember being up on this terrace with a banana in my hand when I suddenly realized that there were about 20 monkeys taking a nap in the street just about 50 feet away. Now, before I could slowly make my way back down, this little monkey saw my banana. It whispered something to this large monkey, who I think was the dad, and then I saw this gesture, which I presume was "go get it." The little monkey looked at his dad, scared at first, but then he did it. He took that first step. He would take a few steps, look back just to make sure his dad was still there, and sure enough, there he was, giving me that Clint Eastwood look. "Go ahead, make my day." As the little monkey advanced, I retreated. The more I fell back, the more confident he became. Finally, he picked up pace, grabbed that banana, and went back to his family. I can still picture that sense of achievement, that sense of victory in his face. Now, there were many steps that little monkey took that day, but I believe it was the very first step that he took that made that victorious ending possible. I wish I had the courage of that little monkey, because every time I want to take that first step towards my dreams, I freeze. It was my daughter's turn this morning. "Dad, you don't have to be so dramatic like Anna in the movie Frozen." And if you have no idea what I just said, you're in the lucky 2% who still have a life. I'm known as the master planner at home. From bedrooms to bathrooms, my goals are posted everywhere. But somewhere along the way, I went from being a master planner to a master procrastinator. Too much work, that book can wait. The kids take up too much time, that business can wait. I am too busy, that distinguished Toastmaster certification can wait. In fact, it got hilarious to a point when my wife Deepa said, "At this rate, you won't amount to anything." I said, "Just wait." And I've been waiting for the last 10 years with my dreams safely tucked away, until I visited my dad earlier this year, who's recovering from a major heart surgery. I love my dad dearly, and we caught up on many things, my childhood, his life. You see, when he was in his mid-40s, he lost his job, and since then, he has been frozen. He just couldn't take that next step. He recounted with regret what could have been, would have been, should have been. It reminded me what the Brazilian novelist Paulo Coelho said. One day you will wake up and there will not be enough time to do all the things you always wanted to do. I can still picture that saddened look with tears welling up. How much he craved for one more chance to take that first step. It hit me so hard. Will that be my picture 20, 30 years from now? I decided to wait no more. I took that first step. I wrote the first few pages of that book. I updated that business plan. And I wrote down my goals towards becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. And like that little monkey, I'm picking up pace, one step at a time. Fellow Toastmasters, what will your picture look like when the time comes? Will it be a picture of regret? What could have been, should have been, would have been? Or will it be a picture of how you took that first step and raced towards your destiny, like that little monkey? When you take that first step, that's when magic happens. As Patanjali, the father of yoga, said, when you're inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, your mind breaks all barriers. It transcends limitations. Dormant forces, people, talents come alive, and you find yourself to be in a brave, new, and a wonderful world. If you take that first step. And along the way, every time you freeze, I'm too old, too young, too big, too small, too this, too that. Tell yourselves what I'm telling myself these days. Get off your tutus and go get your bananas.